Hello there gamers, my name is Zenevilius and welcome to the first ever Rocket League video on this channel. Now Rocket League is a very popular game. It's a game that I play for fun with friends of mine to keep in touch during the lockdown. I am very competitive when I play it, but I don't really play it that much. Maybe an hour a day or even less on average. Just when my friends are online, it's more of a social thing for me. And it's also a continuation of sports that I play during the summer. I absolutely love sports, and therefore I wanted to talk about the psychology of comebacks in this video. I've got the perfect game in the background for you guys. It's one of the best comebacks I've ever had in my life in Rocket League. A hugely enjoyable game, so hopefully you enjoy that while you watch and listen to this video. So let's get started. How do comebacks happen? And why do they seem like they are inevitable once they start to happen? Well, there's a bunch of factors that have to go your way for this to happen. Firstly, you have to have played really poorly compared to your potential to start with to put yourself in this situation. So in the game you see in the background, we're going to be 4 goals down. That's right, 0-4. And although that's not nearly a miracle in Rocket League terms, it does constitute a huge mental shift in focus on the team that needs to make the comeback versus a huge dip in focus from the team that is defending that massive lead. So both of those things have to fall in place really. So the team that has to make the comeback suddenly switches on. Something within them tells them, okay, we can play much better than this, and we know we can. We're all going to collectively make a huge effort to do this. We got no idea whether it'll work, but we're going to make that effort, because if we don't make that effort, then we've got no chance. But if we make that effort and we get that first goal, then you never know what's going to happen. This phenomenon is often called self-efficacy. It's a combination of a positive mental attitude, optimism, but also a clear idea of how to go about it. So having experience really helps, but also just being good players and good communication between your teammates and yourself. Strong personalities and strong leadership also helps. Morale is a big thing, and that comes with the first goal. Like I said, the first goal is so crucial to instilling that spark or lighting the flame from the spark to go ahead and get closer and closer to that unlikely comeback. On the other hand, the other team probably has thoughts like, we can switch off now. It's a pretty good lead. We can just have a bit of fun and not really concentrate. And that's infectious. I'm not going to lie to you. That is pretty infectious, and it does spread to your teammates as well. And suddenly, before you know it, the other team has scored the first goal. And you start to panic a little bit. Not really, but still, you're still slacking. You haven't been awakened to the idea or the possibility that there could be a comeback here. And then suddenly they score a second goal. And then the jitters start. And you start to be nervous, really. You don't really focus on either defending or attacking. Whenever I've been on the receiving end of these comebacks, I've never been a fan of just purely defending. Because when you do that, you tend not to go for the ball, right? And that allows the opponents to have a lot more time on the ball. And in a game like Rocket League, where it's basically cars hitting balls really hard, it can be deadly. It can be deadly because you're giving them time to line up shots, and it's very hard to defend if they fire shots quickly. So that's another thing that tends to happen. People tend to go into their shells, they tend to defend too much, and they think, okay, we're not going to be able to score here, they're just too good, so we're just going to defend. And by doing that, you got no chance of scoring, but the opponents still have a chance of scoring and shortening the gap. And you literally play into the opponent's hands, because that's exactly what they want you to do, especially if it's a 2v2. I don't know if any of you watch Champions League football, but the 2018-19 Champions League season was crazy for this. If you remember the comeback, Liverpool versus Barcelona, that was a perfect example of overturning a 3-0 deficit by just positive attacking football and self-belief. If you also remember Tottenham versus Ajax, where Tottenham completed their comeback to get into the final, those were perfect examples of what can happen if things start to go against you and your morale drops, your concentration drops, the collective psychology of the team just goes into a downward spiral. It's very, very hard to reverse that. And you really need strong characters in the team to motivate you. If you have communication available, that is, on Rocket League. But also, prevention is better than the cure in these circumstances. There's no doubt about it. Because once the comeback is almost complete, you're pretty much out of gas and you just gotta hope. So you don't want it to get to that situation. You want to arrest the slide before it gets too far. That's just my philosophy anyway, but it's definitely a combination of those things for the team that's on the receiving end. For the team that's on the side of the comeback, a lot of things have to go right. Like I said, you got to improve your performance. You got to make sure that you keep possession. You can't lose possession, because if you lose possession, especially in a 2v2, the opponents will just cut through you like knife through butter, really. Because remember, even though they may be having the jitters, they are still pretty good to have made that massive lead against you in the first place. So you still got to be very careful in possession, and if you do lose possession, make sure that you concentrate on getting the ball back as quick as possible without giving them time on the ball. And you got to put the ball in the area more often than not. So you got to create chances. The more chances you create, obviously the better your chances of completing the comeback, but you've also got to be good in finishing. And the reason comebacks happen is not just because you create more chances, because that happens a lot. For me anyway, the level I play at, it happens a lot. You got to be more clinical, and it requires concentration. Positioning is very important, and lining up your shots correctly, because at the level I play at, there are way more misses than shots most of the time, and the players who take their time and the players who line up their shots and position themselves correctly are the ones who tend to do better in this game. At my level I'm talking about, which is I don't know what my rank is, I think somewhere in the gold area. So suddenly 4-0 down, you score the first goal and you get a huge spurt of confidence, and that confidence keeps building and building as you go along. Suddenly it's 2-4, and then you're like, alright, we got to play this out carefully. We know we have this much time left, and we know that we need this many goals to take it into overtime. And if we can manage that and manage the situation, not be overly attacking, but also play really, really well, we got to concentrate this entire remaining 2 minutes or whatever it is, then that builds up momentum. Momentum in the sense that you're racking up the goals and cutting down on the deficit, but also momentum in terms of the shift in the balance of psychological superiority over your opponents. You start to dominate your opponents, their level goes down, they become nervous, they make mistakes, they're not sure what to do, they're not sure whether to defend, whether to attack, there's very little communication, and your level just rises and rises. But I also forgot to mention the most important factor, luck. Luck plays a huge role in sports, so never forget that. So yeah, quick video on the psychology of comebacks, guys. I'm no psychologist, this is just something I've experienced over my time playing both real life sports and esports. If you liked the video, please let me know in the comment section below if you want me to make more Rocket League videos. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.